Please join your palms and let's recite together. Homage to the fundamental teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni. Homage to the fundamental teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni. Homage to the fundamental teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni. Verses of opening of the Dharma. The unsurpassable, profound, and wondrous Dharma is difficult to encounter even in hundreds of millions of kalpas. Now I see it, hear it, receive and uphold it. I vow to understand the true meaning of the Tathagata. Welcome to the fourth lecture of the explanation of the book, The Path to Buddhahood. In previous lectures, we have covered why one would not be looking for refuge spiritually, or how one look for refuge in the wrong things, in the mundane things, or how one take refuge or look for refuge in things such as spirits, ghosts, deities, etc. And now we have come to the most important part, which is the part on the ultimate refuge, the triple gem, which is strictly from the perspective of Buddhism. And the stanza reads like this: refuge is sought everywhere, searched for in all 10 directions. But the ultimate object of refuge is the most auspicious triple gem. Humans feel the oppressive suffering of the cycle of birth and death and wish to seek refuge. Looking everywhere, although they search incessantly after seeking in all 10 directions, and the 10 directions is referring to the 4 cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, and the 4 intercardinal directions or ordinal directions, right? Northeast, northwest, etc. And those are 8, plus upward and downwards, nadir and zenith. So that's 10 directions in total, meaning everywhere. They end up finding only ghosts and spirits, or great spirits of the ghost realm, the heavenly creator, etc., etc. But none of them is the true object of refuge. Only then do they understand that the true ultimate object of refuge is solely the triple gem of Buddhism. And I highlighted the word oppressive suffering. Suffering is one thing, but oppressive means that it's always pressuring on all the time. And many people that I encounter will say, no, life is pretty good. It's not that much suffering, right? Okay, so when you're young, you are not observant. The key is not observant. You feel that there's really not much suffering in life. Why? Because after you're born and you become accustomed to the little things, inconveniences of your body. If you don't sleep well, you wake up bad on the wrong side of bed. And when you're young, you don't sprain your neck as much. But then when you get older, like me, oh my goodness, the saying, you wake up from the wrong side of the bed and there's something off with your neck. Like really, it's pretty oppressive. And then you wake up and you like, oh, okay, I didn't sleep well. It's okay. Be positive. And then you have to go to the washroom. And then you're standing there and nothing happening. You feel the need, but nothing is happening, right? And, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And those of you who don't know, you will find out. Men especially, okay? And then you eat something, and then if you have something to eat, great. If you don't have something to eat, then you go hungry. And then let's say if you eat and you don't go to the washroom, you're constipated. Like a lot of older people that I know, they are obsessed with being able to go to the washroom because it's really, really bad. Like they really literally have a full day of like inconveniences when they don't go to the washroom. So think like that. If you consider everything that how we have to tend to our body throughout the day, and you add those little moments, you realize that we just become accustomed to these little oppressive sufferings physically, right? But the truth is, they eat up a lot of time, they consume a lot of our energy throughout the day, right? And sure, if you're young, you may not understand what I'm talking about, but trust me, you will someday, right? So this oppressive suffering is what the cycle of birth and death is all about. Because as soon as you're born, then you are aging already. And then you go through sicknesses and illness. And eventually, one day, surely you will die, right? So that's why it's called the oppressive suffering of the cycle of birth and death, right? So here we are going to talk about taking refuge in the Triple Gem. So this section is called Praise to the Triple Gem. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are rare and difficult to find, or inestimable value, and of wonderful and incomparable benefit. And thus they are called gems, treasures. Okay, so meaning Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are rare and difficult to find. Trust me, it is rare. How rare? Because 2,500 years ago, the Buddha attained Buddhahood. He established the Sangha. And then from ancient India, around the Ganges River, the Sangha started to spread throughout India. And then a few hundred years later, under King Ashoka, the Dharma traveled outwards to places like today's, what we call the Gandhara region, which is the Afghanistan, Iran, all these places. And then it came to China, to Japan, South Korea, and it went south, it went to Sri Lanka, and then from Ceylon, ancient Ceylon, it went to Burma, Thailand, all these places. So the Dharma spread and uninterrupted. 2,500 years ago, the baton of spreading the Dharma, the Buddha passed on to the Sangha, the community of monks. And then from there, it just get passed on uninterrupted till us today. So rare and difficult to find, much less than 1%, 0.001 maybe. And of inestimable value, meaning you can't not estimate the value, of wonderful and incomparable benefit, meaning coming across the Triple Gem, the knowledge of the Triple Gem, and the benefits are incomparable because it's not about one lifetime. It is something that will, once it happens, lifetimes and lifetimes, there are possibilities of re-encountering the Triple Gem, right? And that's why they're called gems. The Buddha gem, the Dharma gem, and the Sangha gem, or sometimes translated as treasures. Refuge in the Triple Gem allows us to transform misfortune into good fortune, turn difficulty into auspicious opportunities, abandon evil and follow good, turn darkness into light, free ourselves from suffering, and attain happiness. So taking refuge in the Triple Gem allow us to transform misfortune into good fortune, meaning if our life, things are not going well, then we know how to transform this into good fortune by planting the good seeds. And then we turn difficulties into auspicious opportunities, meaning we see difficulties as possibilities of change, understanding, and profound understanding of existence. And then we turn into something good, positive, right? And then we learn about what is evil, what is good. Thereby, we can abandon evil and follow good. Turn darkness into light. Most people go through life with eyes open, but in the dark, like in total, like what we call a drowsiness, right? They just go through being pushed forward. They have no idea. They're like literally not seeing. There's no clarity in their living. And then into light, meaning you see, you understand. This is part of a matrix. There is a pattern to this. My life, this one lifetime, is literally like a theater piece. And I'm just an actor in this. And then we can free ourselves from suffering. So does that mean that we will not suffer physically? No. Having a body already comes programmed with suffering. So, but we understand physical suffering, thereby, by understanding, our mind does not suffer. We do not complain about it. We understand it. We deal with it. We coexist with our physical suffering, right? And even the suffering from losing loved ones or being with people we don't like, right? All kinds of suffering. In that way, we attain happiness. This happiness is internal. It's not due to changes in the environment. It's based on the change in ourselves. So all these auspicious situations are possible to achieve, which is why it is said that the triple gem is the most auspicious. And then the symbol for auspiciousness in Buddhism and also in ancient India is actually the swastika, right? Which means well-being, auspiciousness, right? In Chinese, it's called wan zi. Saying that it is not worth taking refuge in anything else, only the triple gem is a true object of refuge, is not self-glorification, nor calumny to others. It is merely a conclusion based on facts and arguments. Of course, these facts and arguments are based on Buddhist text, discourses of the Buddha. Okay, so let's go to one of the facts. Right after the Buddha Shakyamuni attained Buddhahood, the self-proclaimed heavenly creator, King Brahma, descended from heaven and implored the Tathagata, or the Buddha, one of the epithets of the Buddha, to teach the Dharma. Why? Because when the Buddha attained Buddhahood and attained perfect enlightenment, he pondered and then thought to himself, this truth that I have discovered, that I have realized, will it be accepted by sentient beings, humans? Will be willing to listen to this and practice it? He thought, no, this is too difficult. This is totally against their greed, hatred, and ignorance. So he thought, no, I would just, I've already done what I have to do, and then this is it. And when King Brahma, feeling the tremor, the shake, the universal shaking, earthquake, like that he never felt before, he knew a being became enlightened. So he descended from heaven, the first jhana heaven of the form sphere. And then he came to the Buddha and implored the Buddha to teach the Dharma 3 times. And then the Buddha said, okay, I will try. And he did. So he felt he no longer knew what to do with his children. This is why the King Brahma said to the Buddha, please teach to the humans, because he spent thousands of years through mediums trying to convey messages through people who are able to connect with him. Please don't kill each other. Be loving. He promoted loving kindness. And he considered humans as children. And guess what? Even if you look at some texts that we have today preserved of the deities asking humans to coexist, to live in harmony with each other, it never helped. This is 21st century. We're still killing each other in the name of religion. So King Brahma said to the Buddha, please save my children. Tell them about the Dharma, about the way out of suffering, the way out of the cycle of birth and death. So thus, Buddha Shakyamuni agreed and made the great turning of the wheel of Dharma. First with the 5 bhikshus, the 5 monks. And then henceforward, the Sangha multiplied, and the community of monastics, disciples, Buddhist disciples, monks, nuns, and lay people, lay men, lay women. And then, so all this Dharma is to liberate human beings. King Brahma himself became a disciple of the Buddha, and he attained the noble fruition of free of desires. Okay, this is one fact recorded in the Buddhist text. Another one is in a past life, well, in the figure, it's sovereign Shakra, Shakra Devanam Indra, Shakra, short, considered similar to the spiritual level of the Jade Emperor in China, and they call it Yu Huang Dadi. Knew he would die soon. He perceived his light dimming and he will die. And he had a vision. And then his vision was that he would be reborn in the womb of a soul, a female pig. And then anguished and afflicted, he went to the great King Brahma. And then he went to another celestial being, Maheshvara, and in different realms that he had access to ask for help. And nobody could tell him what to do. He went to the ends of the world, into the mountains, and along the river banks, consulting ghosts and spirits, and even non-Buddhist sages from everywhere. But all in vain. They had no idea how to help him, how to avoid his death. Finally, he met with the Buddha and heard his teaching. And then he did avoid the misfortune of being reborn in a room of a soul and was reborn. He stayed basically in the celestial realm. And what did he do? The Buddha said to him, take refuge in the triple gem and then vow to protect the Buddhist practitioners from here onwards. So the great deities of polytheism and the heavenly creator of monotheism all must take refuge in the Buddha, the enlightened one, seeking refuge everywhere and searching in all 10 directions was Shakra's own experience. As for the arguments, we will next separately praise the merits and virtues of the Triple Gem, explain the ultimate merits and virtues of the Triple Gem, justifying, explaining that it is the true object of refuge for all sentient beings. So let's go into the praising the virtues of the Buddha. Stanza 5 goes like this. He who embodies the correct Dharma, he who embodies pure wisdom as his life. Wisdom is like the moon shining in the clear autumn sky. We revere the Buddha, the honored one of 2 perfections. Master Yinshun explains, now I will comment on praising the virtues of the Buddha gem. Buddha is a word in Sanskrit that means awakened one or enlightened one. What the Buddha realized and comprehended was the correct Dharma, which can also be translated as the wonderful Dharma, 正法,妙法 in Chinese. Dharma is what can be followed and applied. It is immutable and infallible. Okay, so what is Dharma? I have to be very clear. Dharma, by definition of Buddhism, is different from the Dharma in Hinduism and other Indian religions. Dharma in Buddhism is the definition that which can be followed and applied. It is immutable and infallible, meaning this is something that you don't have to blindly believe and have blind faith. It is something that you can follow and apply it and alleviate your suffering. It is immutable, meaning it doesn't matter which realm, which universe, which multiverse, which extraterrestrial out of this all throughout. It's always the same in the past, in the present, and all the way into the future. That is Dharma. And infallible. It does not make mistake. It is what it is. It is the truth. Therefore, the correct Dharma is the just, not unjust. It is straightforward, straight, not skewed, distorted. It is unbiased truth. It is not biased. It is impartial. It applies to every being. It is subtle. It's not like superficial, right? It is the absolute truth that is perpetual and universal, meaning it is what it is. It is suchness. With Buddha, without Buddha, Dharma is Dharma. With enlightened one, without enlightened one, Dharma is Dharma, perpetual and universal. By attaining perfect enlightenment and complete comprehension of the correct Dharma, one can be called a Buddha. Therefore, a Buddha is one who embodies the correct Dharma, becomes the correct Dharma, and is called the body of Dharma, Dharmakaya in Sanskrit. And also the concrete manifestation of the absolute truth, ultimate truth. Why is the Buddha able to attain perfect enlightenment and complete comprehension? Because the Buddha possesses pure wisdom without outflows. Okay, so here's the terminology in Buddhism, without outflows. And the opposite would be with outflows. It's imagine a funnel, right? If there's a hole, then things will go through and it's with outflow. If it's closed, then it's without outflows. Meaning it is free from all afflictions and impurities. The major afflictions are the greed, hatred, and ignorance, and all impurities. The purer the wisdom, the purer the realization of the correct Dharma, which is why the wisdom is called the purest realm of Dharma, or in Sanskrit would be Dharma Dhatu, the realm of Dharma. It is the same as the body of Dharma, Dharmakaya, when they are both come to the utmost level. Okay, Dharma Dhatu is the same as Dharmakaya when it's all realized. The correct Dharma is omnipresent. Omni means everywhere, present everywhere. not diminished by confusion, nor increased by enlightenment. What does that mean? It means correct Dharma is always here. It's just that we don't see it. It cannot be diminished by more confused people, nor would it increase by more enlightened people or enlightened energy. It is what it is. It is omnipresent. Only with pure wisdom can one realize the pure, correct Dharma. Therefore, the Buddha considers pure wisdom as his life, and it's called the life of wisdom. So we have this life. This is the mortal life, the life of this body, and then our mind. But what we are trying to develop is the life of wisdom, right? And in Chinese, it's called Hui Ming, right? We're trying to increase this life, the purity of this life, expand this life of wisdom. The union of the body of Dharma with the life of wisdom is the Buddha himself. So when the body of Dharma and the life of wisdom come to its full fruition, then that's called Buddha. All these terminologies are very important because especially when you're reading Mahayana text, you will need all these terminologies. They will just keep repeating. Now, let us use a metaphor to explain this. The wisdom of the Buddha is like the bright moon. The direct realization of the correct Dharma through pure wisdom is like the moonlight illuminating a clear autumn night. Wisdom of the Buddha is like the bright moon. The direct realization of the correct Dharma through pure wisdom is like the moonlight illuminating a clear autumn night. If there are no clouds, the moonlight will be bright and the blue sky will be especially clear under the moonlight. So cloud represents confusion, illusions that we have. So in our practice, we are always looking for that glimpse of light. When the dark clouds open up and we just see that light coming through, shining through, and that glimmer of hope that we are not lost forever. There is hope. There is a clear sky. There's light behind the cloud. In our spiritual practice, we are always looking for those moments. And when those moments happen, we gain confidence in our practice. This means that the wisdom of the Buddha, which is the pure realization, has completely awakened to the correct Dharma. And it has manifested definitely and immaculately in pure wisdom. Right? So all this is trying to describe with metaphor the wisdom. What is Buddha? What is this state? Continuing. In the sutra, it is said, the Bodhisattva is like the pure and fresh moon that traverses through ultimate sunyata. If bodhisattvas are like this, what can be said of the Buddhas? Right? So meaning like the bodhisattva is someone like with total freedom moving through ultimate sunyata, right? And then imagine what the Buddhas will be like. And then I remember one of the verses that we sing, like in praise to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it says, where there is light, every ray, every sun ray, where there's light, it's almost like they're infinite Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. When the body of the Dharma and the life of wisdom attain perfect fullness, that means that unsurpassable, ultimate, supreme, no more, perfect fullness, this is worthy of the refuge and respect of sentient beings. To revere is to pay homage, just as prostrating and bowing is physical reverence. Praising the virtues is verbal reverence. Having devotion and respect in the mind is mental reverence. In this way, by revering through the three types of actions, physical, verbal, and mental actions, we demonstrate our refuge and conviction in the Buddha. And this is actually talking about a daily practice. Every moment, when you go through your day, always connecting, paying homage to the Buddha, praising, and then feeling respect, and then having that connection with and then resonating in the frequency of the Buddhas, then you're receiving, you're connected with the Buddhas and also receiving the blessings, right? There's an expression. The expression is called the honored one of two legs. It praises the Buddha and has two interpretations, right? So number one, two legs. It can refer to human being. We stand on two legs. And the Buddha is the most honored one and supreme among all humans. Hence, he's called the honored one of two legs. As it is said in a sutra, the correctly enlightened one is the honored one of two legs, while the horse is a superior animal of four legs. The other interpretation of two legs can refer to the two perfections of merits and wisdom. Merits come from compassion, and wisdom, it is the ability to sever, eliminate all afflictions. Besides the Buddha, great bodhisattvas also have great merits and great wisdom. But among the nobles with perfected merits and wisdom, the Buddha is the most honored and supreme. Hence, he's called the honored one of two perfections. These are the above are praises that in sutras often mentioned regarding the realization of Buddhahood. What is Buddha as a gem? Let's continue with stanza 6. In the three periods, the Buddhas are incalculable. In the 10 directions, the Buddhas are also innumerable. With compassion and vow, they came to the world of turbidities. We pay homage to the Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha is a generic term for the great awakened or enlightened beings. Those who can achieve perfect enlightenment and complete comprehension of the correct Dharma will become Buddhas. Therefore, the more people dedicate themselves to studying and following the Buddhas, the more people will also become Buddhas. That means that the probability will be higher, right? But unfortunately, not many people are interested, so it's okay. But I'm sure all of you that are with me today, and myself included, we are interested in this, right? So innumerable, incalculable. Why? And then here it's, I must emphasize, Buddhism, yes. Is it a religion? Yeah, it's a religion, but it's not centered on a figure, a person. It's centered on an idea, on that possibility of enlightenment. So if you believe in Buddhism and you take refuge in the triple gem, are actually saying is, I can one day in the distant future become the Buddha, understand and become one with the Dharma and the Sangha. Regarding time, in the past, present, and future, we call it the three periods, right? So whenever we say the three periods, we don't even say the 3 periods of time. just 3 periods. We're referring to past, present, and future. The Buddhas who emerge are incalculable. The Buddha of the present is the Buddha Shakyamuni, who appeared 2,500 years ago in ancient India, under the foothill of Himalayas. Today it's called Nepal. In the past, there was the Buddha Kashyapa, the Buddha Kanakamuni, the Buddha Shiking, the Buddha Vipashing, etc., etc. Infinite Buddhas in the past, and then there's the Buddha of the present, Shakyamuni, and in the future, there will be the Buddha Maitreya and the Buddha Ruchika, etc. The Buddhas of the past are incalculable and innumerable, and the Buddhas of the future will be the same. So what are we talking about? We're talking about we're just a speck of dust in this whole, the scheme of things, of existence. Infinite Buddhas have become Buddhas, and then in this so-called, in our time, in our kalpa, the Buddha Shakyamuni became the Buddha, and in the future, there will be infinite Buddhas too. So that's the notion of time. And here I want to emphasize, in Buddhism, we don't think of time as linear. It's not linear. It's more like a spiral. This spiral has no beginning nor an end. The physical world goes through formation with a big bang, and then stabilization, decay, destruction. And there's just this period of voidness, and then another formation, another big bang. Infinite big bangs, infinite expansion and contractions of the physical world, and the consciousness, we, every one of us, every person, every individual, every sentient being is a river of consciousness of its own, crossing path with each other. And if we're lucky, we cross path with the triple gem, and we can learn from the triple gem and even take refuge with the triple gem. Regarding space, east, south, west, north, southeast, southwest, northeast, northwest, above and below, nadir and zenith, the 10 directions. The Buddhas in the worlds of the 10 directions are also incalculable and innumerable. What does that mean? Oh my goodness. So people are going, oh, do ET exist? My goodness, this is such a no-brainer in Buddhism. It's everywhere. Even Buddhas exist in all 10 directions. In this very moment, the fact that we are exploring, understanding the Dharma, they know we are connecting with this knowledge. All the Buddhas in the worlds of the 10 directions. We are never, and we will never be alone. We are always with sentient beings, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas. The worlds of the 10 directions are innumerable, and so are the Buddhas. For example, at present, in the East, there is the Buddha Akshobhya and the medicine Buddha Vaishajya Guru. And in the West, there is the Buddha Amitabha, etc. And then if you read the Lotus Sutra, oh my goodness, there's so many Buddhas. And then if you read the 60 fascicles of the Avatamsaka Sutra, even more Buddhas, more worlds are named. Infinite Buddhas. And I even remember I did the ritual of the so-called the ritual of repentance of the 10,000 Buddhas. Basically, the patriarchs, they gathered names of 10,000 Buddhas, and I did read one Buddha's name and one prostration. Buddhist practitioners who take refuge in the Triple Gem should take refuge and revere all the Buddhas of the 3 periods and in the 10 directions. So, human beings, we are notable for being attached to signs. I see colors, forms, and then we need perhaps to see the Buddha statue, a Buddha picture, something that we resonate with, to feel that closeness with a Buddha. But in the greater sense of Buddha, it's just all the perfectly enlightened ones existing everywhere throughout time and space. That is Buddha. That is a notion of Buddha that we need to connect to and revere and respect. Now, if we, in our dream, in our practice, in our meditation, we come to see certain Buddha, it's because our connection, karmic connection with that Buddha. That's all. But that does not limit the Buddhas that we should connect with. We should connect with all the Buddhas of the 3 periods and in the 10 directions. However, for those of us living in this world, there is one Buddha who should be especially revered and in whom we should take refuge. And that is the fundamental teacher, the original teacher who left us teachings, the Buddha Shakyamuni or Buddha Gautama. The Buddha Shakyamuni, in his bodhisattva stages, generated great compassion to alleviate suffering of beings and free them from difficulties, as well as the great vow to endure suffering and hardship. Oh my goodness. Boy, did he ask for to liberate beings of this world, the Saha world. My goodness. We don't listen. We rarely listen to the messages of enlightenment. And then in the case of Buddha Shakyamuni, he did not wish to be reborn in the Pure Land or in any Pure Land, but made the vow to practice in this impure land to become a Buddha, because the suffering of beings in this impure land is extreme and the need for help is extremely urgent. I cannot stress how urgent we are. And in this moment of history of human being, after thousands and thousands of years, after so many wars, the conflicts, we managed to get into another one. And then it's almost like we are just edging in, tiptoeing in the Third World War. We need the teachings of the Buddhas urgently. So there's a saying, if I do not go to hell to save beings in suffering, then who will? This great spirit was perfectly realized by Buddha Shakyamuni. He came to become a Buddha in this world. And in this world, it's described in text as the evil world of the 5 turbidities, 五浊恶世 in Chinese. So what are the 5 turbidities? Turbidity of kalpa, 劫浊, 见浊, 烦恼浊, 众生浊, 命浊. That would be in Chinese. But in English would be the turbidity of kalpa, meaning we are in a diminishing kalpa now. Diminishing kalpa means the kalpa is one expansion and contraction. And so when the Big Bang happens, all the matter starts expanding until it cannot expand anymore. It starts on the process of contraction. And then scientists have proven that now we are on this contraction of the universe, which means that it will come to an end. Okay. So this is just saying that in our greater, our environment, it will come to a destruction. Turbidity of views. What views? Erroneous views. All sorts of views. All sorts of self-proclaimed, distorted views. Afflictions. Turbidity of afflictions, meaning we as beings in this world, we are filled with greed, hatred, and lots of ignorance. Turbidity of beings is referring to sentient beings, lots of beings, innumerable rivers of consciousnesses crossing path with us all the time. It's a real mess. And then the last turbidity is called turbidity of life or lifespan. We have a very short lifespan. As human beings, let's say 100 years, and then maybe with a stretch of science and medicine, we might get to 120, 140, who knows, but it's still definite span. It's a very short span. Why we say it's short? Because even if you live to be 100 years, you spend the first fifth, the first 20 years, like just learning about your body and how to function. And like really, really ignorant about the world. And then learning that process. And how many of you can say that, oh, I know who I am at age 10, age 20. I know who I am. I understand how I feel, my emotion, everything at age 30, age 40. I understand human relationship, age 50, age 60. Oh my goodness, I know people who never learn. So that's why this lifespan is so short. It's not enough to learn about the truth of our existence. So that's why it's called evil world of five turbidities. And then Buddha Shakyamuni decided to come and then be reborn here to save and protect us and not to abandon afflicted beings like us. About 2,500 years ago, Buddha Shakyamuni was born in India. And by the way, when we say India, ancient India, it's a concept that it's a new concept. In the old days, India, it was not a country. It's just kingdoms, little kingdoms. Every city is one kingdom. And his journey was to become a monk, a renunciant. He practiced and he achieved Buddhahood. Since then, this dark world of ours, full of malice, has the light of the Buddha Dharma. Meaning, after the Buddha attained, or Shakyamuni attained enlightenment, then the light of the Buddha Dharma started to shine in this dark world of ours. Buddhism originated in this world thanks to Buddha Shakyamuni. For us, this is truly an inexhaustible blessing, immeasurable blessing. The grandeur of Buddha Shakyamuni is not only respected and praised by us, but also in unison by the voices of the Buddhas of the 10 directions. And this is actually quoting from the Sutra of Amitabha, where it is said, all the Buddhas praise Buddha Shakyamuni for choosing to become perfectly enlightened in this world of five turbidities in the Saha world. As it is said in the sutras, all other Buddhas also exalt me, Shakyamuni, for my inconceivable virtues. And then this is a quote, direct quote from the Sutra of Buddha Amitabha. Therefore, after we take refuge, reverently in all the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 periods, we should particularly express our respect and homage to the fundamental teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni. Right? So I remember in the Avatamsaka Sutra, it is said that in the world of Avatamsaka, all the Buddhas are sitting on their individual lotus flower. And in each and every Buddha, in their crown, emerges the Buddha Shakyamuni, meaning what they have in common. All the Buddhas are same as the Buddha Shakyamuni, and Buddha Shakyamuni represents all the Buddhas. And here the Master Yinshun explains, this is analogous to taking refuge in the Sangha, which includes all members of the Sangha, but feeling even greater gratitude towards one's own refuge teacher, right? So what this is saying that, like, when we bow to the Sangha, to one member of the Sangha, to a teacher, a monastic, a bhikshu, bhikshuni, and then, in fact, we're not just bowing to one person, we're bowing to entire community of Sangha, all the teachers, all the noble ones. And then if we look at the right mindset of the one receiving the bowing of the students, the disciples, the monk, the nun, the bhikshu, the bhikshuni, should feel that it's receiving the respect on behalf of all the teachers, succession of teachers, the transmission from the Buddha and the disciples, the historical disciples, and then all the way till now. One is just part of everything. So one Buddha represents all Buddhas. All Buddha is not different from one Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni. So this is trying to tell us the right way to understand, to perceive, to resonate with the Buddha Shakyamuni and all the Buddhas that the Shakyamuni has told us about in his discourses, and all the Buddhas in the past, present, and future. So I want to stop here today and let us transfer merits. So, and I want to explain again what is transfer of merit. I, thanks to all of you being present, have an audience to talk to. So I can actually share the Dharma with you. So this generates merits. Okay. And all of you, as the audience, listening to the Dharma, listening with respect, with sincere heart, you are generating infinite merits also. So together, we have accumulated, generated a lot of merits. But let's not keep the merits to ourselves. Let us spread the merits, wishing that all beings have access to the Dharma. And then praising all the virtues and merits of all the Buddhas that in this moment are praising this act of the spreading of the Dharma, the listening of the Dharma, the understanding of the Dharma. And that it's the transference of merits. We give while we receive even more. So please join your palms. I wish to eradicate the 3 obstructions and all defilements. I wish to attain wisdom and true understanding. I wish that all calamities and obstacles be universally extinguished. I shall constantly practice the Bodhisattva path, life after life. Thank you very much. And by the way, 3 obstructions is referring to the obstructions of afflictions, the obstructions of karmic, like actions of karma, and the obstruction of consequences, right? Vipaka. And these 3 obstructions, meaning obstructions that will impede us from having access to the Dharma, having possibility to practice the Dharma, and then in contact with good teachers. Yeah. And all defilements are defilements, mainly the greed, hatred, and ignorance. Okay. Good night, everyone. Show yourselves and then say goodbye. Good night.
Good night.
May you sleep and then
everybody.
dream with
Thank
all the
you.
Buddhas, okay?
Yeah.
May all the Buddhas appear in your dreams.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.